7770. Donald Hovis here from the Summerville Rotary Club in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and welcome to Conversations with Rotary Action People for Monday, June 1st. We're in the second half of 2020. How about that? Today's topic is Blessing Box, or a box full of blessings, with David Powell, the immediate past president and the public image chair from the Summerville Lunch Rotary Club in Summerville, South Carolina. Good morning, David.
Morning, Donald. Morning, everyone.
I will kick us off today with the vision statement of Rotary. Together, we see a world where people unite, take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. Right now, to introduce a few key people on the phone here today on the Zoom call, past district governor from the Rotary Club of Hilton Head Island. He was our CWRAP segment on Friday about polio. If you missed it, check out Facebook or our YouTube channel. Mr. Bernie Rydell. Good morning, Bernie. Past district governor from the Rotary Club of Hilton Head Island, David Terrard and his wife, Susan. Good morning, guys. Thank you for being here. I think they have perfect attendance so far on CWRAP here. Public image chair for our Rotary district from the 5 Points Rotary Club in Columbia, Miss Mary Gask. Good morning, Mary. And our district communications chair running the stream today, running the recording. District Governor-elect from the Rotary Club of Myrtle Beach, Miss Pauline Levesque. Good morning, Pauline. And District Communications Chair, running the stream from the Summerville Evening Rotary Club, Mr. Terry Moore. Good morning, Terry. David, you're here today to talk to us about Blessing Box. So I'm intrigued to hear about this. So why don't you take it away?
All right, Donald. Thank you for having me on and for everybody joining in this morning. Well, let me preface it quickly by describing what a blessing box is, in case anyone is not aware of what a blessing box is. Blessing boxes are small wooden structures that are designed with a window typically, and the sole purpose is to place non-perishable food in them. Think in terms of the little libraries, if you will. I know a lot of you are familiar with that. I know that's something that Rotary supports, is the little libraries. But this would be the blessing boxes are primarily for food, non-perishable food, and sundries, those types of things. So just wanted to make everybody aware, in case you don't have a blessing box in your community. I would suggest to you that you give that some consideration, because it does bless a lot of people. This project came about way back in March. Like many clubs, at the time that the governor issued his stay-at-home resolution, our president, Gillis McAllister, our president-elect Richard Waring, and our foundation chair Herman Dixon and myself started meeting about once a week via Zoom to talk about the state of our club and how the pandemic was going to impact it. And about the third week of March, we met on a Wednesday for our Zoom, and we started to talk about what kind of project could we come up with as a service project with what we were seeing in the community. And what we were seeing, as all of you probably saw at the same time, was a lot of people losing their jobs or temporarily being sidelined, unable to go to work simply because of the pandemic. And with that came a need for food. There was a lot of families out there that very quickly went through whatever resources they had, and the need for food became very evident very quickly. And so through the conversation of the four of us, we put our brains together and started talking about what could we do as a club that might have some immediate impact on the community, and be helpful to all those that we knew were having some difficulties. We talked about a couple different things, but as we sat there and discussed it, the thought came to me of blessing boxes. And one reason that thought came to me is we have a blessing box at the church that I attend and that Gillis also attends. And, you know, in the past, I would occasionally go by there and put food in that box, and as did a lot of the other members of our congregation. And I would see people go by there sporadically and get some of the food that they needed. And so in our discussions, it occurred to me that I knew there were more blessing boxes around the community, that this might be something that we as a club could take on as a project that would allow for social distancing on our part. We didn't have to be with it amongst a group of people, that we could do it safely, and we could meet a need that we were seeing rising rapidly within our community. Both Gillis, Richard, and Herman thought the idea was a good idea. And at that point, they tasked me with getting an idea of just how many blessing boxes there were. Honestly, I thought in the Summerville community, there might be 6 or 8, and I even mentioned that. But being asked to find out just exactly how many blessing boxes there were and the locations of them, I went on some various sites, and lo and behold, to my amazement, come to find out that there were over 22 blessing boxes in the greater Summerville area, far greater than anything that I had imagined. And I was able to secure the addresses for all of those blessing boxes. So we met again via Zoom, and we discussed the scope of those blessing boxes. And we, through that, we determined that we needed some idea of the participation of the club. Were they open to taking on a project like this? How many of them were open to actually maintaining the blessing boxes? And you know, how we would go about that process. So Gillis reached out to our club membership with 2 offers. One was for those who were willing to directly maintain the boxes by placing food in those boxes, and other members that were willing to make monetary donations in support of this project. And that's kind of the way we got things started. Well, with that said, we got replies back from approximately 13 or 14 club members who were willing to actually go out and maintain the boxes by placing food in them. And several members stated that they would make financial donations. So with that said, Gillis made the decision to launch the program on April the 10th, which was Good Friday. And so that's really the start date for the project. And our initial thought was that we didn't have a real idea of just how much of a need was out there. We decided that, you know, initially that we would try maintaining these out of pocket. The members were all open to the maintenance of out of pocket providing, with the thought that the money that was being donated could be used if needed. Well, it didn't take long to understand that these boxes were beginning to be utilized a lot more than we had anticipated. And within the first 10 days, we estimate that we had placed approximately $1,400 worth of non-perishable food and sundries in these boxes. At the same time, within that 10-day period, the local newspaper, the Journal Scene here in Summerville, reached out to us and wanted to do a story. And so they did a nice story on the front page about the project that we were doing. In addition to that, as public image chair, I went about the process of promoting it on our social media sites. as far as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and so forth. And with that, awareness within the community rapidly became more apparent. We started to see even a greater number of people who were in dire need of food, and we quickly saw that the vast increase in maintaining these boxes. With that said, excuse me, little computer malfunction there. With that said, we continue to fill the boxes, but many of our members, the cost to do so became much higher. I do need to preface this by saying that of the members that offered to maintain the boxes, we had about, like I said, 13 or 14, and we decided rather than trying to maintain all 22 boxes, we would maintain about 13 boxes and make it something that we felt would be manageable. But even with those 13 boxes, we continue to see a need, a far greater need that we had envisioned. So we continue to fill them. At this point, members that were maintaining the boxes realized that out of pocket was not, they weren't capable of maintaining these out of pocket. And so they began to send in receipts, to be compensated or reimbursed, I should say, for the food they were taking in. We were blessed that we had a number of other members who were making financial donations. Our initial contribution for those donations was in excess of $1,500, and we were grateful for that. And so we managed to keep our heads above water, on track with what we were doing. But again, as time went by, the need became greater. Public awareness of the boxes became greater, and people that were in need of food were going to the boxes more often. And we literally had boxes that we would fill in the mornings, and by afternoon they were completely empty again. And so trying to keep up this pace was obviously going to be a real challenge. It was about that time that we realized that, that given the scope, we had spent at this point, after about 6 weeks, we estimated at close to $4,000 worth of food that had been placed in the boxes. And with that said, our donations had increased as well. Not only from club members, but we were beginning to see some outside donations from the community. To date, we have collected over $2,500 towards this project, both from within the club and outside the club. It was at this time that after about 6 weeks that we had a meeting of the minds, so to speak, and realized that, again, we could not continue at this pace. We realized that at the rate we were going, we would be spending roughly $2,000 a month to maintain the boxes that we had. And we also saw this as an opportunity to engage the other two Rotary clubs here in Summerville, the Oak Brook Morning Club and the Evening Club, and see if they were interested in participating. And so Gillis reached out to the presidents of both clubs. There was some discussion, and they both agreed to participate, and we were grateful for that participation. We sent them the list of boxes with the opportunity for them to choose some boxes that they wanted to participate in. And with that, we've expanded into all 22 boxes in providing food in the community. Actually, I believe there's a new one, so there's probably 23 at this point. We had several members who, that were taking the opportunity to reach out to their subdivisions that they lived in, asking for donations from their neighbors in terms of food and monetary donations, with the willingness to pick up the food, or the food could be left at their doorstep, and which helped a lot, because at this point it included more people and more things that we could place in the boxes. So we were grateful for that. To date, we estimate that we've spent close to $5,000 with the 3 clubs participating now. We know that the need is there. Through our social media efforts, we've seen not only an increase in the people who need food, but we've seen an increase in the people within the community who are donating food to the boxes themselves. So that's been very helpful in terms of being able to go buy a box and see that it's already full. I know that's been the case for the box that I manage. There have been times that I've gone by in the morning, seen that it was empty, gone to the store, and come back a little bit later that afternoon, and it's already filled again. So, we're seeing both participation from more outside the community, as well as those people from our own club. And obviously the need continues. We hope to continue the project, as we go forward. There has been discussion within our club and also with the other 2 clubs as well, as the possibility of making this a long-term project, an ongoing project, if you will, within the community. So that's kind of where we're at. We feel confident in what we're done. We know we've impacted a lot of people, and we feel blessed to have provided for those families who are in need right now. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have.
Well, I want you to take a breath for a second.
Thank you.
That was about 15 minutes of just, I could tell you were starting to lose your voice. I'm like, I need to get in here and stop him. I need to get in here and try to let him, take a breath.
Thank you.
But that was very, very heartfelt for sure. So you sent me some questions to ask you. I knew you were going to cover most of them in your talk. However, I think there was one that I want to maybe have you either say again or just maybe you didn't even really you hit on it, but you kind of skirted around it a little bit. So the Adopt a Blessing box was not started by your club. Am I correct?
No, the blessing boxes already existed, and I should have mentioned that. The blessing boxes, we found blessing boxes that churches had built, businesses, local businesses, other types of organizations. I mean, it runs the gamut of the places that the blessing boxes are located. So we ourselves have not actually built a blessing box at this point.
Okay. And you mentioned there were already 22 in your community. So if, let's say, someone around the district is interested in saying, I wonder if there are blessing boxes in my community, is there like a blessing box website that shows locations or do you know anything about that?
Well, I know in the greater Charleston area, there's a Facebook site. It's just blessing boxes, and within the greater Charleston area, there's over several hundred blessing boxes throughout the Tri-County area. You can Google blessing boxes, and because it is a program that far exceeds this area. It may be national in scope, different areas and so forth. But if someone wanted to really, go through the process of, and you don't have to have permission or anything, you build the box, you promote it as a blessing box, and most blessing boxes in this area, at least, have a sticker on them that says, feel free, please, if you need some, take some. If you give some, place it here, or something to that effect. So, that's kind of the scope of it right there.
And this is actually going to be a comment from me to Mary, who is on the call here. I would love if we would post some pictures of these boxes on the Rotary District Facebook page. I'm sure I think I've seen them on your Facebook page, David. so that we could tell people, maybe what they look like, because you didn't build any boxes. You're not sure the size of the boxes. I don't guess. If someone wanted to build them, I wonder how they would even go about that.
They are various in size. There's no two boxes that look alike. The one thing that they all do have in common typically is, like I said, a glass door so that you can actually look into the box itself and see that the food is there. But I'm telling you that when it comes to size and shape, there's all kinds. And I use the little libraries as an example because I know the Rotary promotes those as a project as well. And some, I've seen big little libraries, I've seen small ones, and that's kind of how the blessing boxes work. They 4 sides, a roof, and on a pole generally.
I think it would be great to see some ones that were painted blue with the Rotary wheel on them all around the district. I think that would be truly amazing. I'm actually going to post after we get done here on my personal Facebook and say, are there any blessing boxes currently in Myrtle Beach? ? Because I'm not aware of any. Let's see. Can you talk about the items again that go in the boxes? Can you just give us maybe 6 or 7 of the items that you typically see in the boxes?
Well, any type of canned good, whether it be vegetables or especially meat, like canned chicken, canned tuna, things of that nature. Peanut butter is very popular. Dry goods, pastas with spaghetti sauce and so forth are popular. I've placed canned chili in some of the blessing boxes, the blessing boxes I maintain. Other types of things, the small packs of applesauce or fruit, the individual packs. I put things like Pop-Tarts in there, literally, you name it. And then there's also the sundry items. We've seen everything from feminine products to toothpaste, shampoo, things like that. And last but not least, infant formula, things of that nature. So, obviously there's a limit to the size of the boxes. And so but we've had some members, and I believe I know I've posted some of the pictures where our members have literally crammed so much food in those in sundry items that there's literally no room in them. But yeah, it's a little bit of everything.
Can you talk a little bit about, at least in your area, where these are located? Are they in neighborhoods? Are they near senior communities? Are they near churches? Kind of give us an idea of that.
Sure. They are. There are several churches in the Summerville community that have one. There are several businesses. In fact, the one that I maintain is a business. It's a construction company, and then there are several that are in subdivisions, those types of places. There are some that are outside of schools, especially elementary schools. And literally, there's not a bad place for one. Obviously, there are places that are more high traffic. We have one here in town. Well, actually, we have 2 in town. One is at a church, and then the other one is just on a street that it has a very high volume of traffic. And that box is a large box, and it is very difficult to keep full. The minute it is full, people start stopping by, and it's a rare day that box isn't filled in the morning and completely empty by late afternoon.
All right, so here, David, are some questions from the viewers. And if you have any questions listening through Zoom, post them in the chat box, or Facebook, post them in the comment below the feed. Are the churches still supporting the boxes, or are the churches giving funds to Rotary to support the boxes?
By and large, the churches are providing food as well. We find that with the churches, we have to do less maintaining on those because members of the congregation are also filling them. But we do still go by each of those and make sure that there's food in there. We have what we find is that the school locations, with school being out, are high traffic areas, so we try to fill those as well. And like I said, there are some businesses also. So I will state the one church in particular, it's called Stallsville United Methodist Church. It has a very large box. I have to give a shout out to Gillis, because that's one that he maintains, and Gillis will be the first to tell you that he can fill that box in the morning, and by afternoon it's typically empty. And again, it's a box that probably is in an area where there's more need than some other areas.
Do you know, in your community, are there other charities that are supporting or replenishing these boxes like you guys are?
No, I think it's more, at least if they are, I'm not aware of it. It's more of an individual community members that are doing that. I have on several occasions on our social media sites been asked the locations of all the boxes, and I post that. It occurred to me the other day that I might just have a post that's simply nothing but the locations, but by and large, people will reach out to the posts that I make and say, well, where are these boxes? And I'll list the addresses for them. So I know that has helped a lot with community members placing food in them.
In the boxes or around the boxes, is there anything to identify who is supporting them?
Typically, no. It's more of a, type of thing, anonymous, I should say, donations, because there's so many. One thing that we did do, and I thought made a lot of sense, we do have one or two organizations right now, including the Low Country Food Bank, that are doing food distributions once a week. And but they're at various different sites. So one of our club members made the suggestion that we create a list of where these food distributions are taking place and the time that they're taking place. And we place that in the blessing boxes as well, to let people know that not only is this a source for you, but there are food distributions going on that is also a source for you.
That is excellent right there. The next two questions kind of go hand in hand, and they kind of cover the same thing. I'm gonna say them both to you, and I'll wait for you to answer when I'm done here. So, have you considered, or anybody in your club considered, partnering with a grocery chain? And then the next one is more of a comment along that same line. Would it be good for the district to partner with a grocery chain? And any ideas out there of contacts who we could contact, and then maybe the individual clubs could support this through like a district-wide project.
As far as grocery stores are concerned, we've had some occasions where one of our members has gone into the store to purchase a large quantity of food. We had this happen just about a week or so ago. Young man member went into Walmart and had approximately, probably $250, close to $300 worth of food. Got to talking to the clerk about it, and they give him $100 worth of it free. So while he was standing there and they were doing this, the store manager of Walmart came up, heard what was going on, and was so taken by what we were doing that she herself purchased the remaining amount. So he walked out of Walmart with, like I said, in excess of $250 worth of food that Walmart provided. We are looking for corporate sponsors. We have been going out talking to some businesses about sponsoring. We have one member who owns a business that's offered to sponsor this project as well. So we're in the beginning stages of that process of doing that. And I'll be honest with you, it's more out of necessity, just simply because we realize how much need is out there and the scope of what's happened. As far as the district, I can tell you, Johnny had made the offer to provide a rebate, if you will, on membership dues. And we've reached out to Johnny and asked him that if this project would qualify for that rebate for membership dues for the third and fourth quarter, with the sole purpose of if we're granted that rebate, we'll use the money for this purpose, for the food. So could the district get involved? Absolutely. And we'd be happy to share with the district any information that they might need, to pursue this idea.
Wow, what amazing story. Thank you for sharing all about Blessing Box here with us this morning. We had, that's truly amazing what you guys are doing. I'm intrigued. I don't think there are any in the Myrtle Beach area, and I'm interested in possibly, starting this up here in this area. So thank you everyone for joining. David, thank you again.
Donald, I would like to leave I'd like to make one point if I could. Or
absolutely.
Shout out. I want to give a shout out to our president, Gillis McAllister, for his leadership and support of this. Gillis has been a huge part of making this thing successful. And, without his leadership in this project, we wouldn't be where we're at with it. So thank you, Gillis. You've helped to make this thing happen.
Well, thank you, David. Thank you for the idea. And I've said many times, this is another good example. Someone has a good idea, you put it out, Rotary connectivity makes it happen. It's been just a terrific experience.
Thank you. And we have posted the link to that Charleston Facebook group about blessing boxes in the chat there. So thank you for doing that. Yeah, great topic. Good program. Thank you. Huff said in Sherall, she's going to share it in Sherall. It's a good deal. Thank you guys so much again.
Anybody that wants to check out our Facebook page, you will see a lot of posts about it and get a better feel probably than even what I've shared with you here. So by all means, feel free to. I want to shout out to Bernie there. He just liked our Facebook page the other day, and so I encourage everybody to check out our Facebook page. Thank you, Donald.
Your Facebook page is Summerville Rotary Club, Summerville Lunch Rotary Club. How can they find you?
It's just Summerville Rotary Club.
Excellent. Thank you very much, David. Well, to close us down here today, I'll recite the Rotary four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? We will see everyone back on Wednesday at 11 o'clock for the next conversation with Rotary Action People. That one's all about your CWP. So if you have questions about CWP, we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Hope everyone has a wonderful Monday. That's a wrap for Conversations with Rotary Action People for Monday, June 1st. Everybody enjoy the second half of 2020. Hope it's much brighter and better than the first half. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.